I think it's no new news for most of us out there that when you hear phrases like what we focus on expands or perception is our reality, those are things that we probably have a pretty strong hold in believing. Even when things happen on the outside that we can't control, we have an idea that there's something around that it's about how we look at them that really impacts us. I happen to believe that if we focus on the positive things in our lives that support us, the things that are going to carry us forward, we're going to see more of those in our life. Just as well as when we focus on the negative things and the things we don't want to see, we're going to see those as well. The net is what you're looking for, you'll probably see. Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. What are we focusing on? Each one of us in our lives and our businesses will come upon challenges. And I happen to think that the bigger things we're up to, the greater challenges we're going to be facing. But the fact of the matter is so much of how we go through that journey has to do with how we choose to perceive what we're actually dealing with. Again, if we focus on things as being incredibly difficult and being filled with challenges for us to overcome, we're probably going to begin to see a lot more of those. But at the same way, when we focus on the positive aspects, even the gifts in the things that maybe we don't feel as comfortable with dealing with, we'll start to see that too. Now, that doesn't mean that we put our heads in the sand, and it doesn't mean that when things are difficult, we don't allow ourselves to feel it, to have that moment where, wow, this is really tough for us. But it's about getting back on that horse and being able to focus on where we really want to go. I always love this idea. I want you to think about out there in Facebook land, if you've ever wanted a new car, and maybe you're sitting there right now, you want a new car, at least one that runs, right? And I want you to think about the time when you decided on getting a new automobile, and before you purchased it, what ended up happening is as soon as you made a distinct decision on a clear make, model, maybe even color, you started seeing more of those on the road. And if you didn't see them on the road, you'd see them in advertisements, you would see them on the computer screen and online ads. You just start seeing them everywhere. Well, what you were experiencing was what's called the reticular activating system. It's the gatekeeper of the brain. They're basically speaking, there are so many bits of information that are constantly hitting us each and every day and each and every moment that the brain needs to filter those out. Otherwise, we'd literally go nuts trying to process everything. But the fact of the matter is when we get really clear on that, and what ends up happening is the brain creates that filtering, and then we just start seeing what we're looking for, even if it's a subconscious idea in our minds. So with that being said, how is that impacting you in your life and your business and your relationships? What are you looking for when you're dealing with people? What are you looking for when you're dealing with loved ones? What are you looking for when you're looking to grow your business or lead your organization? Well, sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, which is to switch off, but I've got 3 ideas that I use, and quite honestly, this is a work in progress for me as well, but 3 ideas that I'd like to share with you that I think can help us all through this process to make sure we're focusing on what really is best for us. And number 1 is to just be present. I don't know about you, but when I get in the most trouble is usually when I start projecting out into the future about how awful things are going to be if I don't make a change. And I always love the quote from Mark Twain. He said something to the effect of, I've experienced a lot of difficult times in my life, some of which actually happened. So what he was basically saying is it was about it playing in his mind time and time again, and many times it never even took place, but there was all the agitation, all the worry, all the consternation that happened beforehand. So what being present allows us to do is just get in that moment and not project our thoughts into the future or even worry about the past, but just get where we are right now and accept where we are. Take a deep breath in and say, this is where I'm at. May not like it, may not be where I want to be, but we accept where we're at and we're present in that moment. Number 2 is to be intentional. Be intentional about where we want to head, where we want to go. Now, this is a balancing act, as I found, because we want to be intentional, but we don't want to grip onto it, right? We want to just set the intention and then allow the opportunities to come to us as we take action toward it. But we're a lot more apt to get where we want to go if we're intentional on where we want to go versus just saying, hey, whatever happens, happens. So be intentional in that positive way and basically expect your unexpected good, so to speak. So be intentional. And number three is to be proactive. Be proactive. Yes, that does mean taking action. Now, sometimes when we're up against it, we don't even know what steps to take. And I always love the adage, which is just what's the next right move? Even if you don't have your entire plan, planned out, so to speak, you're just making the next right move, which leads to the next right move, which leads to the next right move. I've always loved what my teachers, Ron and Mary Holnick, said when they told us, they said, God meets us at the point of action. So when we're present, we're intentional, and then we start to take action, opportunities will begin to open up to us, some of which we never saw before, even though they were right in front of us. So there you have it, my friends. There's 3 ideas about how we can change the perception about where we're at and put it in a positive and empowering light so we can get to go where we want to go. Because really when it's all said and done, when we really think about it, is what we're looking for, we'll usually see. Think about it, take some action. We'll see you next time. This has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care.